Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, bringing you Act 1, Chapter 1 in my Bulletstorm very hard difficulty video walkthrough. And this one's called Just Like the Old Days. And now that we've landed on Stygia, I think the planet's called, it's you and Ishi, your former friend, now turned robot, and this is the start of the game. This is where enemies will actually try and kill you, as opposed to that pussy display they just put on, and where you start to find out a little bit more about why you're here and where you have to go. So as soon as you push that, if you kick that over there, it should do everything you need to do. Be careful though, as you can tell, you get shot to shit, and now I am one bullet away from dying. So as soon as your life's regenerated, if you shoot at that barrel over there, it should clean up a ton of the guys, and then you can push forward.
Be careful. How you holding up? The pain
And just be careful and know your surroundings, because this is a game that situational awareness is going to help you more than anything, because there's barrels places, there's spikes places, and you get rushed from a lot of different types of enemies. And it's just a case of learning which ones are best to approach a certain way, and which ones you've got to do, you know, specific tasks with. So when you come up here, you'll get introduced to the resupply of Bulletstorm, which is these little drop shops. And once you leash them, they allow you to look at both your skill shots, and they allow you to look at the shop to buy ammunition, to buy moves, to buy upgrades, all that kind of stuff. But the first time you do it, it actually activates your heads-up display, so we're going to actually be told what we're doing now, from now on. They're going to tell us what's cool about our combat and what's gay about it, basically.
Son of a mother. Tech is wild. This cocky leash is grading my performance. It will have further opportunities.
And it's useful, it's really useful, because every time you do a new skill shot, you will get the full and maximum point value for it, and then everything after that will be reduced. And there you go. If you shoot that explosive barrel, it takes out a ton of guys, and you can actually leash these guys into this fence to save your ammunition, because you get voodoo doll for it. And it's dead simple. And upgrade wise, I would probably advise you to pick 3 weapons that you want to use for the rest of the game and upgrade them. And once you've upgraded them, I would focus on making sure that they are as stocked with ammunition as they possibly can be, because you never know when you're going to use it. And this is a game where it is expensive to buy the special moves, you know, like the charge shots and the thumpeth or your leash, but if you use those abilities correctly, they will repay what you paid for them. And that's kind of how this game works. So as you run around this corner, you'll hear the screams, which means the serious Sam crazy enemies are going to run at you, and then just kick them into the cactuses or the spikes. And if you kick them into the cactuses, you'll get a new one which is pricked, and it's worth 500 the first time you do it. Everything after that is worth 100, so save your ammo, leash them over towards you, and then kick them into their demise, basically. Nice and simple to start off. Watch out for the ones with the guns. The ones with the guns are the real threat, because they hurt, and sometimes you can't tell who the fuck they are because they look so much like the dude you're rocking, especially at close quarters. But then the screen's telling me how to upgrade. It's also telling me, sorry, should I say, how to look at my skill shots. And this next area is interesting. I like to generally kill these first few enemies from this vantage point where I'm stood. And then once I've killed these guys, when you push forward, you can actually use the explosives against the rest and clean them up nice and quickly. And that dude's head just refuses to pop. There we go. And I get a bullet kick because it's the first time I've done it on this playthrough. So if you come over here, always crouch behind cover. One lesson I will tell you, and that is, sometimes even if you're in cover, it isn't cover. And I know that probably sounds like an oxymoron or just a ridiculous, retarded statement, but it's true. Bulletstorm seems to have, should I say, sorry, a blatant disregard for, you know, the logic that is cover. And often you can still be hit when you're behind it. So sometimes you're just gonna have to sit and pray that you don't get tagged when you're waiting to regenerate. And sometimes you're gonna get killed. And it's just a case of learning from your mistakes and not taking that section as quickly as perhaps you did the first time. But be careful when you push into here, because there's going to be a lot of enemies looking at you, but there's a ton of explosives, so use the explosives against them to kill them all as quick as you possibly can. And the more enemies you kill at the same time, the more points you get, so you should always be using the environment to try and cluster kill people. One thing that did kind of irritate me is the control mapping on this game. That they've mapped crouch to, I think it's pushing the left analog in. And because I've been playing so much Call of Duty, I'm so used to it being sprint. So for the first maybe 3 hours of the game, I was doing nothing but crouch by accident when I wanted to run, because I couldn't get into the Bulletstorm mentality. And I don't think you can change it, which is a shame. But just clean dudes up, take your time, and then venture up here. And when you cross this section, you're going to spawn a ton of dudes that run at you. And there's not that much stuff to kill them on environmental wise. So just mop them up with your gun, leash them if they get too close, kick them if they get closer still. And this is interesting, every time it says hold L, if you do so, it'll show you a point of interest, a little bit like Gears of War did. Only this time, you get experience points for doing it, so you should always try and do it. And if you do it from the very first second the L trigger appears on the screen, you'll get the full 500 experience for it. The only problem is if you're as gormless as me and if you have a really short attention span, you're probably going to miss them and get them kind of late. And I get them late all the time because I'm the type of person that as soon as a cutscene starts, I either have a drink of something that I've got on the side, or I'll look across to my computer or check my emails and shit. Which is why if you have a game like Castlevania Lord of Shadows, for instance, where the quick time events will actually punish you if you fuck them up by taking you to the last checkpoint, it can definitely backfire. But once you've killed these dudes, you get to kick a great fence open, and for some reason that fence swings back and hurts you. And I'm not too sure why, because it never does it with any of the other gates. It's kind of weird, that one. But that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you're enjoying the guide. Thanks for watching my shit, and you take care now.